Admiral Do-hyun Kim stood at the large window of the United Earth Defense Station, Sentinel, looking at the stars. His weathered face showed the weight of his 55 years, most of them spent trying to keep peace between Earth and the galactic Concordat. His dark uniform was perfectly pressed, metals catching the soft light of the command center. But today, something was different. His usually calm face showed signs of deep worry. "Admiral, urgent message from New Eden Colony," called out Communications Officer Jin Ali. Her voice shook slightly. This was unusual for her. She was known for staying calm even in the worst situations. Do-hyun turned around slowly. "Put it on the main screen," he said. His voice was steady, but his hands were tight behind his back. The screen lit up, showing only static at first. Then, through breaks in the noise, they could see fire. Lots of fire. The peaceful farming colony of New Eden was burning. Buildings that had taken years to build were now falling apart. The camera shook as explosions went off nearby. "This is Lieutenant Hyun Park of New Eden Security." A young woman's voice came through, filled with fear and anger. "The Concordat ships came without warning. They're firing on everything. Homes, schools, hospitals. They say they're containing the Deathworlder threat, but they're killing everyone." Do-hyun's face got harder with each word. The Concordat had always looked down on humans for coming from Earth, a death world with dangerous animals, strong gravity, and extreme weather. They said humans were too dangerous to be trusted. But this was murder. "They won't even let us evacuate." Hyun's voice cracked. "They're shooting down civilian ships trying to escape. We have children here. Families. Please, somebody help." The transmission cut off with a loud explosion. The command center was silent. 20 years of trying to prove humans could be peaceful, 20 years of accepting small insults and unfair rules from the Concordat, all of it had led to this moment. "Get me all sensor data from New Eden," Do-hyun ordered. His voice was now cold as space itself. "Then connect me to Earth Central Command. Highest priority." While they waited, more data came in. The Concordat hadn't just attacked, they had brought a whole fleet. 30 ships against one peaceful farming colony. They had planned this. "Admiral," said Jinnah, her face pale, "we're getting reports from the colony's automated systems. Population before attack, 20,000. Current life signs." She stopped, trying to keep her voice steady. "Only one survivor detected." Do-hyun closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, something had changed. The diplomatic leader who had spent years asking for peace was gone. In his place stood a man who had finally reached his limit. The main screen changed, showing the serious faces of Earth Central Command. 5 generals and 3 civilian leaders looked back at him. They could see the change in him too. "They hit New Eden," Do-hyun said simply. 20,000 dead, only one survivor. They called it containment of the Deathworlder threat. The room temperature seemed to drop. The civilian leaders looked sick. The generals' faces turned to stone. "They've made their choice," said Defense Minister Song. "They chose to see us as monsters. Perhaps it's time to show them how right they were." She looked at the others. "I move to activate protocol. Retribution. Protocol. Retribution." The plan they had hoped they would never need. 20 years of preparation, hidden shipyards, secret weapons development, and careful information gathering. All of it ready, just in case the Concordat proved what humans had feared all along, that their talk of peace was a lie. The vote was quick. Unanimous. Do-hyun nodded once, then opened a secure channel to every human military base and ship in space. "This is Admiral Do-hyun Kim. Authorization code. Earth 7 Delta 90. Protocol. Retribution is now active. This is not a drill. I repeat. Protocol. Retribution is active." Across human space, hidden doors opened. Secret hangars powered up. Ships that officially didn't exist prepared for launch. Soldiers who had trained in secret got ready for battle. The galaxy had pushed humanity too far, and now they would learn why Earth's creatures evolved to be not just strong, but clever, creative, and ruthless when threatened. Hours later, a small stealth ship managed to reach the ruins of New Eden. They found Lieutenant Hyun Park in the remains of the colony's bunker, surrounded by the bodies of colonists she had tried to protect. She was injured but alive, her security uniform covered in dust and blood. As medics took care of her wounds, she looked up at Do-hyun, who had come personally to get her. "Why?" she asked, her voice rough from smoke. "Why did they do this? We were just farmers. We never hurt anyone." Do-hyun helped her onto the rescue ship, "Because they were afraid of what we might become," he said quietly. "And now, because of what they did to your people, their fears will come true." As their ship lifted off from the burning colony, Do-hyun received the first reports. Human ships were moving into position. Special forces were ready. The careful plans of 20 years were coming together perfectly. The Concordat had thought they were containing a threat. Instead, they had awakened humanity's full potential for war. They had pushed the Deathworlders too far, and now they would learn that humanity's patience had never been weakness. It had been mercy. And mercy, as they would soon learn, had just run out. Captain Yoon Hee walked through the hidden shipyard, deep inside an asteroid. Her ship, the Silent Thunder, waited in the darkness. It looked different from normal human ships. Its shape was strange, its hull covered in materials that the Concordat thought humans couldn't make yet. They were wrong about many things. "All systems are ready, Captain," said her first officer, Jae-ho Kang. He handed her a tablet showing the ship's status. Everything was green. They had trained for this day for 5 years, hoping it would never come. "How many ships like ours are out there?" Jae-ho Yoon asked. Even though she knew the answer, she wanted to hear it again. 50 ships in this class, Captain, all hidden in asteroid bases like this one. The Concordat thinks we only have old-style destroyers. They don't know about these." Jae-ho smiled a little. It wasn't a happy smile. The Silent Thunder was special. It could hide from all known alien sensors. Its weapons were new types that the humans had kept secret. But most importantly, it carried Dr. Jae-won Choi's work. In her lab on the ship, Dr. Jae-won was checking her data one last time. For 10 years, she had studied alien biology. Every time the Concordat species came to Earth for trade or talks, she learned more about them. They thought she was just a friendly scientist, interested in peaceful research. They never guessed she was finding their weaknesses. "Doctor," Yoon said as she entered the lab, "are you ready?" Jae-won looked up from her screens. "Yes, Captain. Every weakness, every biological problem they try to hide. It's all here. They think their environment suits protect them. They don't know we found ways past those." The doctor pointed to different screens. "The Vrex can't handle certain sound frequencies. The Elan are weak against specific chemicals. The Trell have nervous systems that shut down under the right conditions. They shared their medical data with us, thinking it would help build trust. Instead, we learned how to fight them." Yoon finished. She didn't feel good about it, but after New Eden, there was no choice. Her communication device beeped. It was from Commander Ta-hoon Kang of the Ghost Teams. The Special Forces were in position. "Captain." Ta-hoon's voice was clear despite being light years away. Earth's quantum communicators were another secret they had kept. "My teams are ready. The Concordat Central Communication Hub won't know what hit them." The Ghost Teams were special. They had trained to fight in every alien environment. High gravity, low gravity, poison air, extreme heat, extreme cold. Nothing would stop them. They wore suits that looked simple, but were more advanced than anything the Concordat had. "Remember the plan," Yoon told him. "We hit their communications first. No warnings, no demands, just like they did to New Eden." She went back to the bridge. Her crew was ready. Young faces looked at her with trust and determination. They had all lost someone to the Concordat's containment policies over the years. "Ship status?" she asked. "All systems ready," said Jai-Ho. "Stealth systems at full power. Weapons loaded. Course laid in." Yun-Ha sat in her captain's chair. "Send the signal to all ships. Execute primary plan." Across human space, hidden ships came to life. They slipped out of asteroids, secret bases, and cloud formations on gas giants. The Concordat sensors saw nothing. On Earth, Defense Minister Song was speaking to the public. "For 20 years, we tried to prove we were peaceful. We followed their rules. We accepted their insults. We thought patience would show them we could be trusted. Yesterday, they proved us wrong. They murdered 20,000 innocent people because they feared what humans might become. Today, they learn what we already are." The silent thunder moved through space like a ghost. Other human ships did the same. They had planned this for years. Each ship had a target. Each ghost team had a mission. The Concordat's leaders were meeting to discuss the successful containment of New Eden when their communications went dark. Their defense networks crashed. Strange readings appeared on their sensors for just a moment before those went dead too. In her lab, Jai-1 watched her screens. "Chemical delivery systems ready," she reported. "Sonic weapons tuned to Vrex frequencies prepared. Neural disruptors calibrated for Trull biology." Yun-Ha looked at the main screen. The Concordat's biggest military base was ahead. They still hadn't detected her ship. "They thought they knew everything about us," she said quietly. "They thought they could predict what we would do. They thought wrong." She pressed a button on her chair. "All ships, weapons free. Show them what humanity can really do." The storm broke. Across Concordat space, their mighty ships found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't see. Their superior weapons couldn't lock onto the human vessels. Their advanced armor failed against weapons they didn't know existed. The ghost teams struck their targets. Commander Ta-Hoon led the attack on the central communications hub. The aliens inside never saw the humans coming. Their security systems were useless against technology they didn't know humans had. "Hub secured," Ta-Hoon reported, moving to Phase 2. On the silent thunder, Yun-Ha watched her screens as the careful plans of 20 years played out. The Concordat was learning a hard lesson. Humans hadn't been weak. They had been waiting. "Message from Admiral Kim," Jai-Ho reported. "All teams report success. The Concordat's leadership is cut off from their forces. Their main fleets are blind. Their defensive lines are broken." Yun-Ha nodded. "Send to all ships. Continue with the operation. No mercy, no games, just like they showed us." As her ship moved to its next target, she thought about New Eden, about the families who died there, about how the Concordat had thought they were containing a threat. They were wrong. They hadn't contained anything. They had unleashed everything they feared. Major Sun Mi-Bug stood in the command center of her assault carrier, looking at the holographic display of the Concordat's fortress world, Imperia. The planet was supposed to be impossible to attack. Its defenses had kept it safe for 1,000 years. But today, that was going to change. "All teams report ready," said her second-in-command, Captain Dae-Sung Ryu. "Dr. Min-Ji Song's quantum communication system is working perfectly. Every ship and every soldier is connected." Sun Mi nodded. The Concordat thought human technology was simple. They thought Earth's quantum theories were basic. They never knew that Dr. Min-Ji Song had solved problems their best scientists still struggled with. "Show me the fortress defenses," Sun Mi ordered. The hologram zoomed in, showing the layers of protection around Imperia. Energy shields that could stop any known weapon. Sensor arrays that could detect the smallest ship. Automated defense platforms that could shoot down anything that got close. But they had never met anything like Sun Mi's forces. "Begin Operation Lights Out," she commanded. At her words, hundreds of small devices that had been hidden on Imperia over the years activated. They had been smuggled in with trade ships, hidden in diplomatic gifts, buried by supposed tourists. Each one was smaller than a coin, but together they would change everything. On the planet below, the Concordats' mighty defense systems started to fail. Their perfect sensors showed nothing wrong, but their weapons wouldn't fire. Their shields stayed up, but they weren't stopping anything anymore. "First wave, go," Sunlight ordered. Human dropships fell from the sky like rain. They looked like meteors to the planet's sensors, and that's what the Concordat thought they were, until they changed direction and headed straight for the main fortress. Inside one of the dropships, Sergeant Bo Young Kim checked his team's special armor one last time. It didn't look impressive. The Concordat soldiers wore bigger, flashier suits, but appearances were deceiving. "Remember your training," he told his team. "Their armor is designed for show. Ours is designed to kill." The dropships crashed through the now useless shields and landed. As Concordat soldiers rushed to fight, they learned some hard truths. Their fancy weapons couldn't lock onto the human armor. Their combat computers couldn't predict human movements. And their own armor, designed to look scary, didn't help against weapons specifically made to beat it. In her command center, Dr. Minji Song watched the quantum network light up with battle reports. Every human soldier and ship could talk to each other instantly, no matter how far apart they were. The Concordat's forces were fighting blind and alone. "Major," Minji called to Sunmai. "The enemy is trying to call for help, but they're using the communications channels we knew about. They still haven't found their hidden weaknesses." Sunmai allowed herself a small smile. "They won't. Send the next wave." More ships appeared, but these weren't drop ships. They were the new destroyers, built in secret over 20 years. They looked simple on the outside. Inside, they held weapons that the Concordat had thought were impossible. The space around Imperia lit up with energy as the destroyers opened fire. The planet's orbital defenses, the pride of the Concordat, didn't stand a chance. They had been designed to fight the ships they thought humans had, not the ones humans had actually built. On the ground, Bo Young's team reached the fortress's main control center. The Concordat's leaders were shocked to see humans in their primitive armor walking through their strongest defenses like they weren't even there. "Surrender," Bo Young told them simply. "Or don't. Either way, your fortress falls today." Some fought. Some ran. Some surrendered. It didn't matter. The outcome had been decided 20 years ago, when the Concordat first decided that humans were too dangerous to trust. Main fortress secured, Bo Young reported through the quantum network. "You should see their faces, Major. They really thought we couldn't do this." Sunle looked at her displays. All across Imperia, the story was the same. The mighty fortress world was falling to the primitive humans in less than a day. The Concordat's leaders were learning that they had made a terrible mistake. They had judged humanity by their official military, by the ships and weapons they had allowed the aliens to see. They never thought that humans, the creatures who survived on a death world by outthinking bigger predators, would do the same to them. "Send word to Admiral Kim," Sunlight ordered. "Imperia has fallen. The Concordat's leadership is in custody. Their defense forces are surrendering." She looked at the planet below, its mighty fortresses now under human control. "They thought they were so much smarter than us," she said quietly. "They never asked themselves why we seemed so simple, so predictable. They never wondered if we were holding back." "Message from Earth Command," Captain Daesung reported. "They say, good hunting. Proceed to Phase 4. Sun Li nodded. The war wasn't over yet, but after today, after humanity had crushed the Concordat's strongest fortress like it was made of paper, the end was certain. The Deathworlders hadn't just been contained. They hadn't just been challenged. They had been underestimated. And now the galaxy would pay the price for that mistake. Admiral Du-Gyum Kim walked slowly through the Great Hall of the Galactic Assembly. 1 month had passed since the fall of Imperia. The hall looked different now. Many seats were empty. Their owners were either in custody or had fled. The remaining alien representatives watched him with fear and respect. He remembered standing in this same hall 20 years ago, asking for fair treatment for humanity. Back then, the aliens had laughed at the primitive Deathworlders. Today, no one was laughing. Colonel Sang-Ho Kwan walked beside him, leading the honor guard. Their armor was now openly displayed, showing the advanced technology humans had hidden for so long. Each step echoed in the silent hall. The assembly recognizes Admiral Do-hyun Kim of Earth, announced the chamber speaker, a tall alien whose voice shook slightly. Do-hyun reached the speaker's platform. He looked at the gathered representatives. Some had supported the attack on New Eden. Some had opposed it. All of them had underestimated humanity. 1 month ago, he began, his voice calm but firm, the Concordat decided that humans were too dangerous to exist freely in this galaxy. They killed 20,000 innocent people to contain us. He paused, letting the words sink in. Today, I will explain how things will work from now on. Behind him, a large screen showed images of the human fleet. The real fleet, not the weak one they had shown before. The aliens murmured in shock at the sight of ships that shouldn't exist. Humanity's patience was seen as weakness. Our willingness to follow your rules was seen as proof that we were primitive. Our desire for peace was seen as fear. Do-hyun's voice grew harder. You were wrong. In orbit above New Eden, Commander Hae-yun Park watched as construction ships rebuilt the colony. The new buildings were stronger. Defense platforms floated in space around the planet. No one would dare attack this place again. The colony is growing fast, said her assistant. More people are coming every day. They say if humans could defeat the Concordat, this must be the safest place in space. Hae-yun nodded. She had asked to be stationed here after her promotion. Someone needed to make sure New Eden's next chapter would be better than its last. Back in the assembly hall, Do-hyun continued his speech. Earth will lead the new Galactic Defense Council. All military forces will answer to this council. Any attack on peaceful worlds will be met with immediate response. He looked at the audience. Some of you are afraid. You think we want revenge. You're wrong. What we want is justice. What we want is peace. His voice became quieter, but no less firm. A peace protected by strength, not built on lies. In her lab on Earth, Dr. Jae-won Choi was meeting with alien scientists. They looked nervous, but she smiled kindly at them. Yes, we study your biology secretly, she told them, but now we can work together openly. Think what we could achieve if we stopped fearing each other and started truly cooperating. The aliens looked at her data, then at each other. Slowly, they began to ask questions, to share ideas. Fear began to turn into curiosity. On the former fortress world of Imperia, Major Sun Mi-baek watched as human and alien engineers worked together to convert the military base into a joint training center. The aliens are learning fast, Captain Dae-sung reported. Once they got over their shock at our real technology level, many of them became eager to work with us. Fear can teach quick lessons, Sun Mi replied. But respect lasts longer than fear. In Earth's shipyards, Captain Yoon-ha Lee stood with her crew, watching new ships being built. These ones weren't hidden. Their advanced technology was clear for all to see. Strange to work in the open, said Jae-oh. No more secrets. Not all secrets, Yoon-ha corrected him. Humanity learned an important lesson. Trust is good, but preparation is better. Back in the assembly hall, Do-hyun was finishing his speech. 20 years ago, I stood here asking for humanity to be treated fairly. Today, I stand here telling you how things will be. The difference isn't in our strength. We were always strong. The difference is that now you know it. He looked at each representative in turn. Humanity doesn't want to rule through fear. We want to lead through wisdom. We'll protect the peaceful and punish the aggressive. We'll share knowledge with friends and show strength to enemies. Colonel Sang-ho stepped forward with a data pad. These are the new treaty terms. They are fair. They are just. They are also non-negotiable. As the aliens began to sign, Do-hyun thought about all the years of preparation, all the hidden strength, all the careful planning. Humanity had never wanted war. They had wanted peace, but they had learned long ago on Earth that peace came from strength. That evening, Do-hyun stood at his familiar window on the Sentinel station. Earth glowed blue and green below, a beautiful death world that had taught its children well. "Message from New Eden, Admiral," said Jinnah. "Commander Park says the new colony is thriving. People are calling it a symbol of human resilience." Do-hyun smiled slightly. "A symbol of more than that. It's a reminder." "Of what, sir?" "That patience isn't weakness. That preparation isn't paranoia. And that underestimating humans is a mistake you only make once." The stars shone peacefully as human ships patrolled the space lanes, keeping watch over a galaxy that had learned its lesson. The Deathworlders had finally shown their true strength, and now they would make sure that strength protected peace instead of just threatening war. The galaxy had pushed humanity too far, but humanity's response hadn't just been about revenge. It had been about creating a new order, one where strength served justice, where technology served progress, and where fear would never again be mistaken for peace. The age of hiding was over. The age of true cooperation could begin. And if anyone ever again thought about attacking innocent human colonies, well, the wreckage of the Concordette's fleet would serve as a reminder of why that would be a very bad idea.